Would limiting the age of the president to 65 be something you'd support? Why or why not? Yeah. Even arguments about mental fitness aside, I think we should limit to candidates who would at least be reasonably expected to spend a couple decades in whatever world they create. I think the US should implement a ranked choice voting system. I think that will have a much bigger impact on our political system. Why stop at the presidency? How about for all elected officials? The president sets the precedent. 65 is when it's time for people to retire. Sit down, make room, live out your days in peace. Set that tone for the American people. Yes, absolutely. Both Joe Biden and Donald Trump are way too old to be president. So was Reagan when he ran 40-plus years ago. Hell, I'd even go further and cap the ages for all elected officials at 65. All politicians should fuck off the second they hit retirement age. Those who would hit it during their term shouldn't be allowed to run for office. Yes, I would. And if you need to know why, just look at Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Dianne Feinstein to name a few. This country has way too many geriatrics running it. I don't see how we could determine that 65 is the magic number for such a cutoff. People age at different rates. There are folks with dementia in their 40s and some 90 years olds are still sharp as a needle. The better question to discuss is how to fix the way the executive is chosen. Is there a way to do this that would tend to yield better executives and stop putting partisan hacks in office? Nah. I just want term limits across the board. I don't like old people making decisions that play out over decades, but I also don't like saying somebody can't do something strictly because they're old. They might be the best person. But we never get the best person for president. The two-party system is broke. So age limit on presidency doesn't really matter. They'll find some other garbage person to put up there that'll keep the status quo going. But screw this 30-plus years in Congress nonsense. Feels like something voters should be able to decide for themselves. I would support it. Not only for the obvious issue of old people have mental health decline, and the debate of mental disorders like dementia, but a generational thing too. People who are 65 and up live totally different lives than me at 26, even if we live generally in the same or similar location, financial status, and social groups. Some of these politicians say they worked at McDonald's when in college too and bought a house and paid for their education at just $2 an hour. In $1,962 had the same buying power as $18. That's more than my previous factory job, which was just $16 an hour. How do you explain that to them? Even Bernie wants a $15 min wage, which is not even a living wage anymore. Maybe 70, and it should apply to Congress. We should not have people with dementia running the country. I am going to be the unpopular opinion here. I think having an age limit really does take away experienced candidates who have dedicated their lives to public service. While the majority of those people don't actually run for office, I think we do underplay how important experience and wisdom is important for a leader. Nelson Mandela was 75 when he was elected president. I have had professors in college who were so intelligent, compassionate, and overall good people who were over the age of 65. I know that the majority of people who run for president or who are in politics don't fit that narrative, but I think it's still important to keep that door open. I don't care about age, only cognitive ability. There are plenty of 65 plus who are mentally sharp and carry a wealth of experience. I would maybe support cognitive exams for all candidates, but the process could easily be corrupted. Ultimately, I think voters should be able to vote for whoever they choose, and make their own determination about mental fitness. And candidates ought to do the right thing and step down if their mental abilities have been compromised. Yes. Why? Well, for example, air traffic controllers are forced to retire well before 65. It's neither liberal nor progressive to support ageism. If you want to fix politics, criminalize accepting special interest money, criminalize financial investment above and beyond 401 kiloseconds, IRA-S index funds during terms, institute term limits, decrease the election cycle to a 6-month period, and mandate 100% transparency in existing political beliefs, financial investments, and political goals. Further, like any job, a mid-year and annual review are required. You must report to the voters why you've failed in a campaign promise, and how you can resolve that moving forward. Finally, bi-weekly interviews are required with questions fielded not from the press exclusively but from voters. Presidents should be 35-40 when elected, at least 6 foot in height, and trained in javelin throwing. I don't know. I don't like that we're run by a bunch of fossils either, but I don't know if a hard limit at an arbitrary age for all people is really going to work out in reality. I am absolutely astonished at the number of people who are saying yes. The best person for the job should be in that position, regardless of age. No. It's possible the best person for the job could be 66, and then we done fucked up because of the random age rules.